Okay, so having a look at the gate section now. So with the gate, there's both internal and external scored wood. Okay, so I'll start with the external pieces. They've got the tongues and grooves on them. Okay, so simple process for these. Take your part. Because we've already checked that they fit correctly. Basically stand it up in there. Same with the other side. Okay, and just leave it like that. So I'm just going to leave this part flat for a moment just so you can see how the rest of it goes together. So this part is going to lock down inside here. Right, and this part's going to come in from the side. Now you'll see there's quite a lot of clearance at the bottom here. Now the idea is that we're going to put our hinge for our gate in first. So that's this piece here. And so what I'm going to do, come along and put a bit of glue around the outside of that. Now it's probably way too much, so I'll get rid of a bit of that. But what I might do is just drop it down on this piece for a moment just to get some of the excess glue off. Right, now this frame matches exactly to the internal door frame. So I'm basically going to push that down into place. Then I'm going to take this side piece, the inside piece, and put that on top. And so what I've got is I've got like a 3-layer cake. I'm just going to run my finger around to make sure that it's all married up nicely and that there's no excess glue. We've got these side bits laid down, that's not too bad, so I'm going to come along, a bit of glue on those. Stamp a bit onto that. Now the alignment for these pieces, critically, is on the outside of them, not on the inside. So they should be a fraction lower than the top. By a fraction I mean a wood depth. And I might just put a little bit of glue in there, just to lock the whole thing together. It doesn't hurt at this stage to stand the whole thing up. That way you make sure it's coming in nice and square. And then, for example, this end joint, just pull it back a bit just to make sure that everything's lining up nicely. Again, if you're working on a square mat, that's not a bad option there, just to square that up. Now, while that's still, before it's dried, I can put the top piece in. Now the top piece rests on top of that. Now it goes in only one way, right, so make sure you turn it so as you've got the right way in. Right, and that's also going to help in terms of squaring the whole thing up. Okay, tell the light goes in both ways. When you look at this, you've got one set of holes which is close to the edge. That side needs to be facing towards the front. Yeah, a bit of brushwork around the front here to make sure all that glue's out of the way. Okay, so if you look at it from the front, you can see that I have a gate with the hinges around to the side, then on top. Now with the top section I have these two pieces, right, and then these two end pieces. Now they really only go in one way, so once you actually got the model together you'll see how that goes. A little bit of glue on the back of those. So these are providing my framework for the roof section for the gatehouse to lock into. Now again, you don't need to worry too much about how this looks because it's all going to be hidden. Now, just a quick note on this. You see here, or you might be able to see there's a wood grain here. That's designed to be on the underside facing up, so when you look in from the bottom you can see that. I've put mine together backwards. I'm going to quickly do a retrofit. So even the designers can get these things wrong sometimes. Okay, the roofing section for this, I have two pieces of card like this, and then two triangular pieces like this. Okay, so again, I'm just going to do my standard. In fact, this time I'm going to do it on the card because it's going to be easier. Just a little dab of glue in between the joints. Now again, the wise choice is probably to give this a little while to dry before you go herring onto this bit. Okay, you'll feel that lock down when you've got it in place. Same thing on the other side. And one of the tricks with this is if you pull a little bit to the side, like stretch it over the hole, it'll go down much more easily. The advantage of doing this while it's still a little bit wet is that you can shunt that piece from side to side to get it to fit in really nicely into its position. Right, there we have the gatehouse almost complete. There are roof tile overlays for this. Okay, so I've got two of these and two of these. Pretty self-explanatory where they go. Again, glue it all up, brush it down, put them on. Okay, so the main gate has got timber embossed side and then a not embossed side. What I've included in the kit is a cardboard overlay, which you can basically glue onto the inside of the door. Or the gate, sorry, there's one for each side, and what it'll do is it'll give it a bit of framing, which gives you some detail that you can paint. The only suggestion is that if you're going to paint this brown, you might paint it before you stick it on, especially if you're going to go for a high contrast. And you'll see how that slots in there. Right, so I've left the hinge area free so as you can open the gate and so on. Right. When I say hinges, they're kind of, fake hinges. You can basically hang the door on there. It's not going to lock into place and then stay permanently attached, but it gives you enough that you can swing the door open and closed if you want. Okay, you got a bunch of walls to make at the front. So there's one long wall which goes from the house right to the gate. Then there's an L-shaped wall which has the long side facing forward, which goes from the gate to the carriage house or large barn. They'll all have a pair that you'll work out. The only trick is make sure that you've cleared out each of those holes before you go gluing them together. Again, a little bit of glue, not too much. Plenty. The timber will hold quite well without needing tons and tons of glue. With the corner one, you have the tongue and groove that form the outside. Then the short wall locks all the way in, and then the medium wall locks in on that, so you get that kind of join there.